Okay, Rick, did you identify everybody now? We are on.
Xperia Tablet Z is still connecting to audio. I did send them a chat. I haven't received a response.
Okay, very good. Keep following him, Rick. I'm going to proceedings. Good afternoon. My name is Judge Bonnie Rangel. I'm the judge of the 171st Judicial District Court. It is 1:09 p.m. We started a late today, 7/16/2020. We are in the midst, as everybody knows, unless they're under a rock, of a pandemic, and the Texas Supreme Court has allowed the courts to hold hearings via Zoom and YouTube Live. If there's anyone out there that has any objections, please verbalize that right now. Let the record reflect that there is no objection. My court reporter, Ms. Anita Garza, is on participating, as well as Rebecca Gonzalez and my bailiff, Rick Salazar. I want you guys to know that we are on YouTube Live to comply with the Texas Open Courts provision. There's to be absolutely no recording of this proceeding. There is an options bar at the bottom if anybody wants to participate in a chat, or I was going to say a chat room. Oh my God. If anybody wants to participate in a chat or in a breakout room, that's how it goes. Then please ask for permission. I'll be more than happy to give it to you. Okay, is there anybody here that does not understand those instructions, or that has an objection to proceeding with these sorts of proceedings? Let the record reflect that nobody has verbalized any objection, so we are going to begin with our afternoon docket. 1, 2. Hang on a second. 4, 5. You know what? I don't have the afternoon docket. I grabbed the wrong docket. Becky, I'm going to have you start calling the case. I don't have the afternoon docket. I thought I did, but I grabbed the wrong one. So Becky, can you call the first case, please? Well, until I get the docket.
Okay, the first case is 2019 0D00628, the state of Texas versus Carlos Chavira.
Announcement of council, please.
Evan Martinez for the state.
Mr. Darnell is on, but he's on mute.
Darnell. Mr. Darnell, can you respond?
He's still on mute.
Becky, do you know when you sent me Mr. Darnell? Are you there?
He's on mute, Judge. Mr. Darnell's on mute.
Mr. Darnell, can you unmute? I'm going to try to help him unmute. I can't find him.
Maybe somebody can send him a message.
Chat, can you, Rick, have you chatted him?
Just now.
There you go. And I've been asking him to unmute. Mr. Darnell, there you are, sir. Announce, please.
Jim Darnell for Carlos Chavira, Your Honor.
Becky, can you find out when you sent me this afternoon's docket in my email time and what day, so I can look for it, please?
It was one whole docket, Judge. You should have had the morning and the afternoon together.
I grabbed it. It's downstairs. I did get it. But
so you want me to just send you another one?
Send me another. Yes, please send me another. Okay. Now, this is it a settlement conference, Miss Becky?
Yes, it is a settlement conference, Judge.
Okay. It's a settlement conference. Do we have an offer to settle in this case, Mr. Darnell?
We do, Your Honor, but this is one we had talked about.
I'm sorry, Mr. Darnell. Judge, you didn't ask for the identification.
Oh, that's right. Okay. His last name is what again? Carrillo?
Carlos Chavira.
See why I need a docket? I'm completely lost. I am lost and Mr. Martinez is found. When has that ever happened? I'm more lost than you, Mr. Martinez.
I just emailed you one, Judge.
You did what, Mr. Vasquez?
I just emailed you the full docket, Judge.
Oh, you're awesome, sir. Thank you for saving my life. Mr. Vasquez, I really appreciate that. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. I got it, Miss Becky. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I just got it. I just happened to pick up the wrong one. Okay, 9, 2, 3. Okay, the first one is Mr. Chavira. Mr. Chavira, where are you, sir? Say good afternoon to me. Mr. Chavira?
Nobody waving at the screen, Judge. I can't see anybody.
So he's not on? Mr. Chavira, there he is. I think that's him. Ask to unmute Christopher Chavira. No, it's Carlos. Maybe it's a C. Mr. Chavira, is that you, sir? Boy, this has been a painful first case. Mr. Christopher Carrillo, that's Christopher
Yes,
Carrillo.
Judge. I'm here.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chavira is not participating on the screen. Do you waive his presence, Mr. Darnell? Mr. Darnell?
Mr. Darnell's back on mute.
my-
Yes, Your Honor, we waive his appearance. I apologize.
Okay, sir. So do you have, this has been the most painful beginning of a Zoom meeting I've had in my whole entire career. Mr. Darnell, do you have an offer to settle in this case from the DA?
We do, Your Honor, but this is one we had talked about that I am probably going to have to speak with Mr. Esparza.
Okay, sir. Have you,
Judge, I've spoken with Mr. Esparza about the case
okay,
today.
good. What happened?
He's just, the rec right now is 2 years deferred probation. So he's authorized me to offer, I can do the 2 years deferred on the 1244A or time served on the 1244B.
Okay, what are you thinking about that, Mr. Darnell?
Well, I will certainly talk to Ivan, but that's a place to start, and I appreciate it.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Can we set this, you think it would be fruitful to set this up for another settlement conference in 3
Yes,
weeks?
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, settlement conference in 3 weeks. It looks like it's close to settling. It's gotten a little bit better.
We're getting a little closer.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Mr. Martinez, for your efforts.
See?
Thank you,
I'm
Ivan.
proactive, Your Honor.
You are very proactive, sir. I'm very impressed with you and proud because you're so proactive.
Try to be. Thank you
Okay.
for noticing, Judge.
Anything else in this case?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Mr. Darnell, thank you. You all may be excused. We'll send you notice for 3-week settlement conference. One more.
Thank you.
Be excused. The next one is David Blissett. That's Ms. Solis. Solis is participating, right?
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Ms. Solis. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-3224. David Blissett, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Araceli Solis on behalf of Mr. Blissett, Your Honor, we're ready.
Good, Mr. Blissett, where are you, sir? Talk to me.
I'm doing good, Your Honor. How you doing?
Good, sir. I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Blissett, do you see and recognize your attorney as your attorney, Ms. Solis? On the screen? Do you
He's on mute. He's on mute, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Blissett.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, sir. And Ms. Solis, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. What do you gone round and round in this case? We've given.
Judge, I'm sorry, Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it looks like Anita's having issues. It's Christopher Carrillo who we're getting feedback from.
Carrillo, can you get on mute for me, please?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you, sir. Rick, I'm letting in Daniel, iPhone. Okay,
Yes, Judge.
follow that. I don't know. It could be Mr. Avila. I don't know. Katie Navi, I think is Mr. Navadomskis. We've got that. Good, Mr. Navadomskis. Okay. Do you have an offer to settle in this case, Ms. Solis?
Your Honor, I was going back and forth with Veterans Court. They closed out the case because I couldn't get 100% confirmation from legal, which I finally did, but it's better just to pursue this route. I did email Mr. Nunez. I don't know if he had an opportunity to review all the documents I sent him. I had asked if it would be possible to do some type of misdemeanor deferred, but I'm not sure what his thoughts are on that.
Okay, so I guess Veterans Court is out of the picture now.
Your Honor, they wanted 100% confirmation. I did get one, but it was after the fact. So they closed the case to reopen it again. I'm going to go through the whole cycle again. So I confirmed with Mr. Blissett. I've already confirmed with the legal department. So I did send an email, as I mentioned, to the state to see if there's a possibility of a misdemeanor deferred given the classes and everything that Mr. Blissett's taken. But I don't know what the state's position is on that.
Mr. Nunez, what are you thinking, sir?
Your Honor, I haven't seen the documents. I was just awaiting on Veterans Court. Maybe
Right.
I haven't even had the opportunity to even look at any of it.
And I just did this Monday, Judge. I did send him everything. I mean, I can resend it again, but I don't know, see if he could review it just during another offer.
What I found, you guys, drug courts may do wonderful and great things, but trying to get into this veterans drug court, it takes an act of Congress. I don't know.
I've never had issues, Judge. This is a first, but I mean, I'm comfortable if the court's allowing us to stay here. I don't know if Mr. Nunez could review the information I sent him quite a bit.
So this isn't a first impression where we're having difficulties getting people into veterans court.
Oh.
I have a history of that, and it's not a good one.
Oh.
So, not a good one. Okay, can we give you, Mr. Nunez, about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to look at the packet?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 2 to 3 weeks, Ms. Becky, whenever you can put it in, please. Settle another settlement conference. You want misdemeanor? Did you say misdemeanor deferred?
Yes, Your Honor. We were hoping to do hopefully misdemeanor deferred.
Okay.
Do you need me to resend the information, David?
No, I did get the email. Like I said, I just haven't had the opportunity.
No, not a problem then. Okay.
Great. Okay, we'll see you in 3 weeks in this case, 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Judge. Maybe excused?
Thank you for participating. Absolutely. Rick,
Can I call you?
Thank you, Ms. Solis.
Thank you.
Writing in Galaxy J2. See who that is. Galaxy J2. The next one is Christopher Carrillo, 2019-5889. Announcement of council, please.
Mark,
For the state, Your Honor, state is ready.
Mark Guarana for defendant, also ready.
Good. And Mr. Carrillo, you're there present as well. Thank you, sir. Mr. Carrillo, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes, Judge, I do.
Very well. And Mr. Aranda, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
I don't see him.
Talk to me, Mr. Carrillo.
Oh, okay, I see him
Can you
now.
hear me?
There it is. Okay. Do you see and
I'll
recognize?
do a wave.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo. Thank you, sir. Do you see and recognize him as the defendant in this case, Mr. Aranda?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Mr. Aranda, have you received an offer in this case?
We just discussed earlier today, Judge, and it looks like we can probably set it for.
Good. Excellent.
Judge, again, the reporter's having issues. What I believe is happening is that since Mr. Carrillo is in his car, the sound is kind of bouncing inside and going back into his microphone.
Can you mute Mr. Carrillo? Please mute yourself again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo. Okay, so we're gonna set it up for a non-custodial plea, Mr. Aranda, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
It'll be done in 2 or 3 weeks. He'll have to go ahead and report to the training center of the probation department. You don't have to be there. You'll participate through Zoom. I don't have to be there, but your client will go to the training center. Have you done a non-custodial plea there before, sir?
I have not, Judge. I don't know where to send him to.
Okay, he'll give you all the notice, the instructions, and the address. Okay, sir? So it's gonna be probably in about a couple of weeks. Mr. Nunez, can you start sending him the plea papers now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. What is the plea agreement? I wanna know.
Your Honor, the plea offer originally was 3 deferred. We just negotiated today, time served on a Class A misdemeanor of 80.
Great. Very good. Sounds good. Okay, we'll give you all the instructions and all the notices, Mr. Aranda, but let's start with the plea papers. Okay?
All right.
Thank you. You all may, anything else, Mr. Aranda?
No, Your Honor, may I be excused?
Absolutely. Mr. Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Carrillo. Thank you. You may leave as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too, Mr. Carrillo. Be safe out there. Is anybody out there? Mr. Joseph Vasquez?
Judge, that one's gonna be Joshua Spencer. He did an entry of appearance on Miguel Guardado.
Okay. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-5894. Guardado, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Joshua Spencer, on behalf of Mr. Guardado, Your Honor.
Okay. Is Mr. Guardado is not on the screen, is he?
Judge, I think he was having some difficulty. I just got hired recently. I sent him the
Hang on. Will you waive his appearance then?
I would like to waive his appearance. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It is. So waived. Go ahead. Now talk to me about the case.
Judge, like I said, I just recently got appointed. My understanding is that there was an offer extended and there were still negotiations moving on this case. And so I like a pass for further investigation and negotiation, Your Honor.
Very good. What's the offer on the table right now?
Your Honor, the offer right now is on count 2, evading with a vehicle, 5 straight. Time served on the misdemeanor resisting arrest, and then dismiss count 1, which is a tampering, the misdemeanor POM, and a misdemeanor evading.
The POM and the evading to be dismissed, the misdemeanors?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Sounds like a pretty good deal, Mr. Spencer, but you need some time to thoroughly investigate. I understand that. How much time do you want? You want 3 weeks, Mr. Spencer?
Your Honor, I would prefer 6 weeks only because there are a number of different counts, and I like to and I think because of with the COVID and my restrictions, I like a little bit more time for negotiation.
Okay, sir. 6 weeks. You got 6 weeks, sir. We'll set you up in 6 weeks, Mr. Spencer, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Excellent. Yes, sir. No worries. Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Thank you all so much. You may be excused. Be safe, Mr. Spencer, please.
Your Honor, you too. Bye.
Thank you. Daniel Felix, that's Mr. Kinata.
Hey, Judge, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Again, Mr. Kinata. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-5973. Daniel Felix, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Derek Inat, on behalf of Mr. Daniel Felix, Your Honor, we're ready as well.
And Mr. Felix is not participating this afternoon, right?
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Felix, talk to me, sir.
How are you? Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Felix. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good.
Like those glasses, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Felix, do you see and recognize Mr. Kinata as your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Kinata, do you see and recognize Mr. Felix as your client and the defendant in this case?
That is correct, Judge.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Do we have an offer? Did you get an offer from the DA, Mr. Kinata?
I have, Judge. I believe I have. However, Judge, I can say to the court that at this point in time, I do feel that this is a matter for the jury.
Oh my goodness, my gracious. What's the offer?
Your Honor, the rec on portal right now is a 10 years probation. I did speak with the complaining witness actually yesterday, and we did talk about a rec, and we are willing to offer 2 years deferred on a misdemeanor.
Ooh. Well, Judge, having said that, I'd like an opportunity to speak with my client. I do think that that's a substantial deviation from the original record, which I am grateful for.
Of course.
If we could come back on this case in a couple minutes, Judge.
Couple minutes, absolutely. You want me?
I'm going to contact my client on the phone, and we'll.
Oh, you're gonna do it on the phone. Okay, sir. No worries. No worries.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll call you back. Let me know. Wave at me when you're back so you can tell me. Okay? So
yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Salazar, let me know if I don't see him waving and he is. Let me know, okay?
Yes, I'll keep an eye out.
Ismael Ramirez, 2019-6308. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
And Ruben Ortiz for Mr. Ramirez. We're ready. Sorry about that.
It's okay, Mr. Ramirez. Mr. Ortiz,
That's okay.
it's nice to see you. Nice to see you, sir.
You don't even know what kind of adventure I had right now while you were handling your hearings.
Can you share it on Zoom?
Well, I don't know, Judge. I don't think I should. I mean,
Okay.
all I can tell you is I'm a multitasker, okay? I'm right here sitting down nice and comfortably. All I can tell you is that I did a lot the last half hour, a ton.
I'm reading between the lines.
I'm serious. I got a lot done.
And please don't share. Thank you. Not sharing. Good, Mr. Ortiz. I'm glad you're a great multitasker.
I don't want to get traffic citations.
Good for you. Okay, Mr. Ortiz, do you have enough? Well, let's first. Mr. Alderete, I'm sorry. Mr. Ramirez is not on the screen, right? Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, he is, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ramirez, do you see and recognize your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Good. And Mr. Ortiz, do you see and recognize your client, Mr. Ramirez, as the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Mr. Ortiz, I think you've gotten an offer in this case, right?
I don't recall if it got better or not.
Okay. Let's see.
Mr. Nunez, how you doing?
Help us out here.
Good.
You have a better offer?
Your Honor, the notes I have here are just from Portal is 10 straight. That's what we've had. We haven't had any recent contact with the complaining witness, though, to be fair.
Yeah, Judge. Yeah, I think we'll just keep going forward, Judge.
You mean with a jury trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Like in 4 years?
You know what it is? I don't have any connections with Jaime Esparza, so I don't get to go talk to him on anything.
Wow. Well, for what it's worth, he's not going to be there anymore, so.
Yeah, but we still got 6 months left or so.
Okay. Now, do you think you could, with 10 years straight probation, make a counter? Are you in the mood to make a counter? You don't even want to make a counter. You're not going to accept anything.
I mean, right now, Judge, it's a 10 straight. I don't think Mr. Nunez probably has the authority to go to any kind of misdemeanor type thing.
Well, he's not spoken to the complaining witness.
Right.
Is this the case that you could talk to the complaining witness about a misdemeanor, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, I would just ask for one more settlement conference, and I just say what I like to do is always run a better location. And once I get that contact information.
And frankly, Judge, and I need to check to see if there's one of those old Wednesday trial dates. I'm not sure.
It might, I mean, if they can't find the complaining witness, then maybe.
Okay, Judge.
Okay, so let's pick this up for another settlement conference to see where we're at with the complaining witness. Mr.
Thank you so much.
Good. That'll give you time to speak.
Awesome.
Mr. Nunez, you want 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? You tell me.
2 weeks, Your Honor, please.
Yes, sir. Settlement conference in 2 weeks.
Perfect. Thank you so very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Be safe out there.
You too.
May be excused.
Thank
you,
Thank
Mr.
you, Judge.
Rodriguez. You may be excused, sir. Thank you for participating tonight.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you today.
Thank you. Mr. Gabriel Alderete, that's Public Defender, 2019-63. Ask for the council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Felix Castaneda for Mr. Alderete, ready as well, Your Honor.
Very good. Mr. Alderete, are you there?
He is, Your Honor.
I'm here.
Mr. Alderete, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes, I do. I see Mr. Felix.
Yes, and Mr. Castañon, do you see and recognize your client, Mr. Alderete, as the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Now, do you have an offer in this case, Mr. Castañon?
We do, Your Honor. I think the last offer was 3 years TDC.
3 TDC. Rick, I'm letting Daniel's iPhone in. Is that Mr. Avelar? Let's see. Okay. 3 TDC. Does it get better, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor, not at this time. I think I have some more digging to do, and I can stand firm on this offer for now, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you think it would be fruitful and productive if we set it up for another settlement conference, or are both of you guys pretty much stuck at 3? He's not going to take.
I would like that, and I think that could help resolve the case, Your Honor.
To set up for another settlement conference?
Right.
One more. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Castañon, let's keep trying until one side
Okay.
says, no, I'm not budging, right?
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Your Honor.
Good. So you want 3 weeks, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. 3 weeks sounds good.
3-week settlement conference on this one. Thank you all very much, Mr. Castañon. Mr. Alderete, thank you. You may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, I just got the chat from Mr. Quinata. Him and his client are ready to come back in.
Okay, come back, Mr. Quinata.
Very quickly, Judge, not to take up too much of your time. I know we've got a full docket. If we can set it for a plea, Judge.
Excellent. That's what I want to hear. It's a non-custodial plea. We'll set it up within the next couple of weeks.
Beautiful,
Okay?
Judge. You have a beautiful rest of the week, and if I may be excused.
You have a beautiful, safe week as well. Mr. Nunez, start with the paperwork, remember, and start with a plea agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You may be excused, Mr. Quinata. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise, Judge. Bye-bye.
You may be excused. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Sir. What was your last name again?
Felix.
Mr. Felix, thank you.
Felix the cat. Have a good day.
I'm not going to forget that. Thank you.
There you go. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Angel Corona is waiting to get in. Is he a defendant?
He's mine, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Navadomskis. That was very helpful. Okay, Mr. Castañon, did you have any more? Because you were on the line.
I do not, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. You may be excused. Have a wonderful afternoon. The next one is Hector Cordova. That's Mr. Wyatt. Is Mr. Avelar on? I've let him in 2 or 3 times.
Yes, Mr. Avelar is on. He is here, Judge.
Okay. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-6319. Hector Cordova, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
And Daniel Avelar for Mr. Cordova, Judge. Good
Good.
afternoon, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Cordova? Good afternoon, sir. Is Mr. Cordova there or is he here online?
Yes, Your Honor. Here.
Mr. Cordova, there you are. I remember you. You were one of the first ones here, sir. Thank you, sir. Do you see and recognize Mr. Avelar as your attorney in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Avelar, do you see and recognize Mr. Cordova as the defendant in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both of you have identified each other. Do you have a new and improved offer for Mr. Avelar, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. It is 10 deferred. Drug
Your
counsel.
Honor,
Yes.
that's neither new nor improved.
Really?
Right. Come on, David.
Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's not bad. The same.
Oh, Your Honor, to be honest, there was nothing on portal. So I threw on, that's what I threw up there. Just literally.
So you thought it was new and improved. Okay.
No, I'm giving him a hard time, Your Honor. There's not much David can do. Our client has some immigration consequences, Judge. And I think this may have to go, if you know what I mean.
Okay, sir. I mean, okay. If we can't you can't plead anything, obviously.
No, Your Honor.
I don't think Mr. Nunez is going to reduce the manufacturing delivery to a misdemeanor. To avoid immigration consequences, right, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. I guess this is one. Can we agree that we're just going to put it on a trial?
Please.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we agree. It would be fruitless to continue trying to settle this case. Put on the jury trial track list, Miss Becky, please. Very well. Anything else in this case, Mr. Avelar?
Yes, Judge. If we need a suppression, can we get that from Becky?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have you filed it? That may be a quick resolution.
Right. We have filed it.
Okay. Miss Becky, thank you for letting us know. Miss Becky, we need an MTS on this one. And we can handle it on Zoom, right? It's not going to be like document intensive and.
Right. I don't have a terrible problem with handling it on Zoom.
Okay. Mr. Nunez, do you have a terrible problem handling it on Zoom?
No, Your Honor.
Good. It's going to be on Zoom. Becky set this up for an MTS. Okay. That takes care of that one. Did you have another one, Mr. Avelar?
I do. The famous Elizabeth Medina.
Elizabeth Medina.
Page 6.
And why is she famous? I forgot why she's famous.
Well, Judge, she works for us. She tolerates all three of us.
That's beautiful. My hat's off to her. My sympathy first, because she has to put up with all three of you.
Right.
Ms. Medina, I forgot. Now I remember. Good luck to you, Ms. Medina, is all I can say.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, at this time, clerk calls cause number 2020-562, Elizabeth Medina. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
And Daniel Avalar for Elizabeth Medina, Judge.
Good, okay. What are we doing in that case, Mr. Nunez? Can you really make an offer that's new and improved on this one?
Your Honor, the rec is 1 year state jail, probated for 2 years, $500 fine, 100 hours community service, and then the regular terms and conditions of probation, along with a parenting class.
Okay. What are you thinking about that, Mr. Avelar?
Your Honor, just to clarify, yesterday I extended a new rec to Mr. Avalar where the case is reduced, the punishment is reduced under section 1244A. So it'd be 6 months in the county jail, probated for a year, with the same probation conditions.
Okay, that's a pretty good deal, Mr. Avelar.
We can do better.
Okay. What's your,
So
do you have a counter now, or you want to talk to him later about a counter?
And that was part of the discussion, to Mr. Martinez's credit. Specifically, Judge, there was some clarification that was needed on the recommendation. Mr. Martinez clarified that.
Right now.
So we aren't on the same page right now, Judge. Not only do I have issues with how the investigation was conducted, but Ms. Medina doesn't have a criminal record whatsoever. You know, I can list a slew of things that Mr. Martinez already knows, and so we're not on the same page, Judge.
Okay. Are you willing to make a counter or not?
A misdemeanor, absolutely.
Mr. Martinez, Mr. Nunez, would you even consider a misdemeanor reduction in this case?
No, I think this is the case where she had her 7-year-old in the car with her. I believe she had her 7-year-old child in the car with her. So I can't do that. I I think the elements are there to prove this case, but
I respect that. Okay. Now, do you really think this is something that another settlement conference may be fruitful, or do we put this on the jury trial?
Maybe, Judge, maybe a settlement conference down the road.
One more?
Maybe 60 days down the road where we can get, I don't know, I don't mean to step over Mr. Martinez's toes, but maybe this is a situation where we have a meeting with, the powers that be.
The powers that be, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll give you 60 days on this one. If you're still work something out and you say you're trying to work something out, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Yes.
And she's doing great on her machine, Judge.
That's awesome.
It's all she does is work and goes home.
Just to be clear, Your Honor.
That's all anybody can do right now. Everybody's in the pandemic coronavirus. So that's not a good achievement, Mr. Avila.
Well,
that's what we're all doing.
but I mean, she can kick back at home and drink, and she doesn't.
That's the good thing. Amen to that.
Your
Amen.
Honor, I had explained to Mr. Avalar that this rec with the 1244A expires on August 15th.
August 15th, you understand that, Mr. Avila?
Yes, ma'am.
But 60 days, you're asking for 60 days. 60 days is going to be well beyond the August 15th. Should we set a settlement conference around that date? August 15th?
Sure. If it expires, it expires.
Oh, okay. So you want me to set up a settlement conference in 60 days then, if you're not worried about the expiration?
Sure.
Okay. You just know it's going to expire August 15th. August 15th expiration, and
Judge,
yes.
there is a settlement conference scheduled for September 9th.
Okay. September 9th. Can we extend, you don't want to extend that offer till September 9th, the settlement conference? Mr. Martinez? or
Yes, Your
no?
Honor. Yes, September 9th is fine.
It's good? Okay. Okay, good. We helped you out a little bit there, Mr. Avelar, okay? September 9th, we'll discuss it and you let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. Mr. Avelar, anything else, sir?
Nothing further, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Martinez, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. You all may be excused, Ms. Medina.
Judge, that settlement conference that's set for September 9th is probably gonna be on September 10th or the week after, okay? So tell them I'm gonna be sending a renotice on that.
Oh.
Because you won't be, you'll be out.
Yeah.
I want to be out too.
Well, I have a judicial conference. You want to join us on Zoom? The
Boring.
judicial conference is 8th and 9th. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing those 2 days. So come and join us. I need company. I need company, Mr. Avelar. Join us on the Zoom.
Okay, bet.
Okay. Ms. Medina, good luck. Good luck dealing with keeping these 3 guys in line. My hat's
I
off.
know.
You all may be excused. Have a great day. We'll see you. September
Thank you,
9th,
Judge.
11th, one of those days.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Avelar. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, thank you. The next one is Charles Burkholder. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-6423. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Rene Vasquez for the defense, we're ready, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Vasquez, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case, Mr.
I do,
Burkholder?
Judge.
And Mr. Burkholder, do you see and recognize Mr. Vasquez as your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. I'm letting in Galaxy J2 again, Mr. Salazar. I don't know who that is. Do you know?
No, I don't. I did send them a chat when they were in the first time and they never responded.
He's in again. Okay. Okay, Mr. Vasquez. Let me ask Mr. Nunez first. Is there a new and improved offer in this case, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, recommendation we have is 5 deferred, $500 fine, 150 hours of community service, UABA, as well as a curfew.
Okay. Is that new and improved, Mr. Vasquez?
It has improved, Judge.
Good.
I have two questions, Judge. The first one, David, would you reduce it to a state jail?
To like an,
Right now it's a 3rd degree.
to like an attempted?
Yeah.
I don't want to make that decision at this time, but I will
But
say
we can.
the reason I didn't go down further than that is because he did get PTD on a PG1. I believe it was around a 2nd or 3rd degree. He had pretrial diversion on that, and I think this is a fair rec at 5 deferred. I may be able to work on the years on this rec, but I don't want to drop it down onto an attempted.
And would you do 2 defer, even though it's a 3rd degree?
I'll do that. I will give you 2 deferred.
Okay.
That's very good.
It is, Judge. Judge, and I have a second request, and it's not a normal request, but I would like to know if it will be possible to maybe, if we take this deal, remove the curfew requirement. I mean, I know it's mandatory. I know that it's not normal not to have it. And basically, I would have to have the state and the court on board on this. Christopher has different jobs. He's in and out all the time. He's right now a personal trainer. He has a small company of web design, so he has to be in and out his house all the time. He's a veteran. He has a daughter. He doesn't have any, well, only that prior case in which he got PTD, and that's all he has, Judge. So if we are able to remove that condition, I think we have a deal, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Vasquez, this is not an outrageous offer. This is what I can tell you. It's not going to suffice for you and your client if we say this is the curfew except for work and how old is his daughter?
How old is your daughter, Chris?
Next month.
Say that again.
She'll be 3 next month.
Oh, how cute, how precious. I would say the curfews imposed except for work and school related activities. When and if the kids go back to school. That way, he has some flexibility, whether he's training or he has another job, he can, that curfew doesn't apply.
Judge, how can we clarify so my client knows how exactly can he prove that he was working? Because I think we have questions about that. He's
Well,
confused about that part.
Okay, well, I guess he's a personal trainer, and what else does he do?
He has a web design or like media management company. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes. So I have a social media management company. I work with celebs, models, and musicians, and we're also currently opening a studio for musicians here in El Paso. And I travel out of city a lot. Between most of the time, it's Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, and then Las Cruces and Albuquerque. And that's the reason that I had brought it up.
Okay, well, first of all, I'll allow you to travel, okay, sir? I mean, that's how you earn your income and your livelihood, so I'm not going to deny you that. You just need to tell your probation officer, I'm leaving at this day and this time, and I'm coming back this time. Okay, that's all. We ask for the travel. Now, in regards to proof of work, right? I say the only thing you could do is if you are found with an alleged curfew violation, but if you can prove that it was for business related purposes, right? Or school related purposes. I don't think it's going to be a school related purpose right now. An affidavit from one of your clients that you were somewhere doing this or that or the other. It's got to be logical though, okay? It's got to be a logical thing. You can't be doing work at like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. Probably. It depends on what. Now, personal training, you wouldn't be doing personal training at 1 o'clock or 2. So you understand there's some logic to it all. But
Yes.
if you can always cover your bases, is what I'm saying. Cover your bases so that you have proof at all times if you are not in compliance with your curfew violation. Did I explain it good, Mr.
Perfectly, Judge. Perfectly.
Okay, good. Oh, good. Okay. Okay. So that's how it's going to work. That's how I see it working. Right? Are you okay with that, Mr. Vasquez?
As I understand it, yes, Judge.
Okay, very well. So can we set this up for a non-custodial plea?
I believe so. I'm going to just speak with Chris, but I believe so, Judge.
2 to 3 weeks. Excellent. You call Mr. Nunez off the record later on today or tomorrow if he's not going to plea, but we're going to put you on the plea non-custodial list. I think we'll do it in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Mr. Nunez, begin the plea paper process.
Perfect, Judge.
Good. What else, Mr. Vasquez? Anything else in this case?
No, Your Honor, not in this case.
Very well. Mr. Burkholder, thank you so much for participating. You may be excused, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
You too, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Vasquez, did you have another one?
Yes, Judge. The next case is Chris Barroso.
At this time, court calls cause number 2019-6533. Chris Barroso, announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Rene Vasquez for the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Barroso participating or not? Mr. Barroso, are you
No,
there?
Judge. I'm going to waive his presence, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, what's the offer to settle in this case, Mr. Nunez?
Judge, I believe we have a deal. We have 5 defer, and we're going to dismiss all the misdemeanors.
Great. Beautiful. Let's put this on the non-custodial. Wait, the guy, he's out. He's out,
Yeah,
right.
he's out.
Non-custodial plea, 2 to 3 weeks, the same instructions. Mr. Nunez, begin the plea paper process, please. Very well. Anything else in this case, Mr.
No,
Vasquez?
Judge. I'm done.
Sir, thank you. You may be excused. Are you done for the day? You're
Yes,
done?
Judge.
Thank you, sir. You've been working real hard. You gave me a couple of pleas. I'm very happy with you. Thank you.
Judge.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir. The next one is Corona, Angel Corona, Richard Huffman. Is anybody there for Richard Huffman?
I am, Your Honor.
There you go, Mr. Navadamskis. 1964-80. Angel Corona, and please.
David Nunez.
Yes.
State is ready.
William Navadomskis for Mr. Corona, Your Honor. We're ready.
Mr. Corona, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and be put on mute. I think we're getting all the feedback from you, Mr. Corona. Be on
Okay.
mute. You'll be able to hear everything. Thank you, sir. Mr. Navadomskis, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Do we have a better offer, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, I think the offer is the same. I don't think that we're probably going to resolve this one because I don't think it's one that he can plead to. I don't know if the court wants to hear about the case, but it's a delayed outcry on a family violence, and just the nature and circumstances of the allegations just don't ring true. And in just reading, I mean, the way she describes she, for instance, she claims that they have an assault, that he assaults her. Well, first she says, I want him to go to Neon Desert with me, and he doesn't want to go. And then she says, well, I don't want to leave him here because by the time I get back, he's going to gather his things and be gone. So she's operating from a position where she's afraid that he's going to leave her. And then doesn't make a police report about any of this until days later. But the other thing is that she claims that he assaulted her. And then they had a brief respite from that because one of her friends shows up at the house. But then she says that she continues to beg him to go to the Neon Desert after being assaulted. And then to boot, she says that during one of these interludes that she takes a steel mop handle and bends it over his back by smacking him with it. And so yeah, that's in the report. That's her part of the report. And so, I just don't see how he can plead to anything with regard to this case.
Yeah, I can see. I can see why you're not going to plead. Mr.
It's certainly not 5 straight.
Mr. Nunez,
Yes, Your Honor.
think you have problems with your case or not?
Not at the moment, Judge. I mean, there was also an independent witness who ended up going with the complaining witness to Neon Desert from the report, it seems. I'd like to get in contact with her. I mean, but the CW is on board, and I mean, I'd be welcome to a bench trial on it if defense counsel agrees.
Well, you have an independent witness, Mr. Nunez, but if that independent witness went with her to the Neon Desert concert, I don't know how independent it is. It could be her best friend. So how independent that person that went to the Neon Desert concert with the complaining witness is, I don't know. Will you agree that she admitted that she broke a steel bar on his back, or she bent a steel bar on his back?
We did find something in the report about this, and it says, this is to quote the report, the victim advised that during the assault, she grabbed a broomstick in attempts to defending herself, and that the offender grabbed the broomstick and her arm, turned her body around, and with his right arm and bicep placed it around her neck. The victim advised that the offender began to squeeze her neck, which is with his arm, and that it constricted her neck. And then the photos, it just shows a V, the broomstick in the V, bent in the V. I mean, that's what we have, Judge. I mean, we can characterize it any way we want to, but like I said, the CW is on board.
Okay.
Everything pans out after I do my pre-trials. Like I said, Judge, I mean, maybe it'd be something to do.
A bench trial, okay. Mr. Navadomskis, would you waive your right to a jury, or do you want a jury trial on this?
Probably do a jury trial, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. I respect that as well. Okay, let's see. I guess in this particular case, I don't think any more settlement conferences would be fruitful. What are you thinking, Mr. Navadomskis?
I agree with that assessment, Your Honor.
Yeah, I think you're pretty adamant. I think, the way you see it and the way Mr. Nunez sees it are so vastly different. I don't think there's a meeting. I don't think there's going to be a meeting of the minds. I don't care how reasonable you both are.
A lot of it has to do with which report you read too, Judge.
Well,
she has different versions in there.
Yeah, well, the first thing that was kind of a little bit suspect to me, and it always is when there's a delayed outcry. Like days later, she decides she wants to file charges. How many days? How many days?
It was, I believe, 3 days, Your Honor. 3 or 5. I have to look.
That's always a little suspect, because if they're really hurt, if they're really getting beaten, if they're really, you do it immediately. You don't wait 5 days later, Mr. Nunez.
And so the other thing is, her friend Alexis knocks on the door in the midst of one of these things with the thing. Says, He let me go in attempts to answer the door, and I got up and grabbed a metal-handled mop while he was walking away, and I swung it at him, hitting him in the back, right or left shoulder, causing the top of the mop handle to bend. And that's so no one sees that, except, I mean, but she tells that's her version of the facts. And they're not going to have a witness to whatever happened at that time, which is when the alleged choking occurred, which makes it a felony.
Right. Okay. Mr. Nunez, there may be some issues in your case. There might be, and the biggest one that I see is the delayed outcry. You do agree it's a 5-day delayed outcry, Mr. Nunez? 5 days?
It is a significant amount of time. I believe her mother takes her in because her mother saw these bruises on her and reported it to police because according to her, she thinks that this is the first time that this has happened. Of course, this is not the first time that this has happened. He has assaulted her. So, I mean, that's just coming from the report, Judge.
Well, you know what? It's actually almost, if it says date and time is 7/2/2019 at 13:31 hours, she's reporting from an event that occurred on 5/25. That's over a month. I was mistaken. I thought it was closer.
25 and then 5:30. That's what I have till 2019.
It happened 5:25 and she reported 5:30?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then there's a subsequent statement I guess she makes in July.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it is about a 5-day. That, you know, that's a little bit suspect, Mr. Nunez, but okay.
I trust there won't be a 911.
Phone call? No, there isn't, because I think the mother talked her to go to the police station, right? Is my understanding of the fact, so there won't be a 911. Okay.
My client might have made one. I don't know if that's something that we can look into.
Well, look into it. Look into it.
I did make one.
He did make one.
Ah, okay. Well, then that may help your case, Mr. Navadamskis.
Your Honor, I did mention that to my investigator specifically on July 2nd, because the last setting I know defense had mentioned that. They stated there were no 911 audio. There were no 911 calls in this case.
There were none?
That's what it says, Judge.
But Mr. Corona is saying he made a phone call to the 911.
And maybe yes, down on the actual date of offense, maybe try it that way instead of the walk-in date. I think that might catch it.
Right.
We're right. It was days before, yes.
Yeah, get the right date for the 911.
Yes, Your Honor.
Get that. Try to get that, Mr. Navadamskis, if you can, or Mr. Nunez, if you want to help Mr. Navadamskis do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Maybe we ought to do one more trial, one more stat to see what that 911 says.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's do one more settlement conference. See what that 911 call says, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. Let's give you at least 40 days to get the 911. It may take a little bit. 40 days, settlement conference. Mr. Navadamskis, anything else, sir?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor, no.
Mr. Nunez, anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Corona, thank you so much for participating. You may be excused. Mr. Navadamskis, thank you, sir. You may be excused as well.
Thank you, Judge. Take care.
You too. You too. Mr. Fernie Chacon, State of Texas versus Brenda Sanchez, 2019, 65. Ask on the council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Honorable Judge on Health, Fernando Chacon, for the defendant, Your Honor. I'm ready.
Mr. Chacon, you have a better offer in this case that you're going to accept, or are you waiting for one from
Judge, Brenda Sanchez is on as well, and they need the ID.
Thank you, sir. I forgot. Ms. Brenda Sanchez, where are you? Talk to me.
Hola, how are you today?
How are you? I'm good, Ms. Sanchez. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm here just working.
Thank you, ma'am. Where are you working?
I work at Great American Steakhouse.
At what steakhouse?
Great American.
Great
on
American.
Airway.
Very good. Very popular place. Great steaks. Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sanchez, thank you for participating this afternoon. Do you
and great service too.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you see and recognize Mr. Chacon? your attorney in this case on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And Mr. Chacon, do you see and recognize Ms. Sanchez as the defendant in this case and your client?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Let the record reflect both have identified each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what are we doing?
Judge, oh, Judge, can I speak?
Of course.
This is one that has a co-defendant. I didn't have a chance to put them together yet. I just set some of the settlement conferences on the docket, and this is the one that has a co-defendant that I was supposed to set them together. And the co-defendant doesn't have a settlement conference until August 19th.
Who is
Her
the
name's Dubé or?
Bailiff?
Hold on. Let me go in and get it real quick.
Mr. Nunez, do you know the spelling of the co-defendant in this case?
I know that the last name is D-U-B-Y, but I do not know if Sapphire is spelled the regular way.
Right, S-A-P-H-I-R-E.
Sapphire Doobie. Okay. Got it. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Becky, we need to put them both on the same track.
Who's the attorney, Your Honor, for the co-defendant?
Do we know Miss Becky or Mr. Castaneda?
Public defender.
Well, that's either Mr. Vasquez or Mr. Castañon. Those are the two assigned in my case, in my court, Mr. Chacon. Sometimes Ms. Brown will have some of the cases, but those are the only 2 or 3.
Okay, Judge, thank you.
Very good. Okay, so what are we doing now? What's the offer, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, the offer is 5 years deferred probation, 30 days ACOP, anger management, 200 hours of community service, $500 fine, UABA, curfew, no contact to CW, restitution to victim to be determined, to run concurrent with misdemeanor probation, which is, I don't remember what that offense is at the time, Your Honor, and then as well as a deadly weapon finding, to wit, brass knuckles.
Okay, I think I remember this case.
Yes, Your Honor, we agreed to no contact.
And that's all.
Please.
Thinking about the offer.
No, we respectfully decline, Your Honor. We're the ones, my client was the one that was attacked.
Okay. I think I remember this case. Was there a video where you said, Mr. Chacon, there was no brass knuckles or no?
No, I don't think there was a video, Judge, but
I'm getting confused. Okay. Okay. Now, would you consider a counter, Mr. Chacon, or under no circumstances are you accepting anything?
Your Honor, we'd have to talk to the attorney of the co-defendant. I need to make contact with them, see what the statements are and what her point of view is.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Get together and see what you guys have against each other or for each other. Good. Okay. Let's set this up for another settlement conference in 30 days then. We might be able to work through it, maybe not. Ms. Becky, let's make sure we have the co-defendant and the attorney that's on the same day as Mr. Chacon, so we can work on both of them together.
I will, Judge. I will.
When is, you don't know when the next setting is for Doobie?
Yes, she was for August 19th.
Let's do August 19th, Mr. Chacon.
All right, Judge.
Okay, there it is. August 19th is a settlement conference again with both of you. Okay, Mr. Chacon, anything else?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Ms. Sanchez, thank you so much. You may be.
Thank you.
I'm calling you.
Thank you, Mr. Chacon.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I apologize, Judge.
That's okay. Why? Apologize.
For not putting them together right away.
Hey, no worries. No worries, Miss Becky. The next one is Crystal Martin, Rey Velarde, 2019-69-56. Crystal Martin, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Judge, good afternoon. Mr. Nunez, good afternoon. Rey Velarde on behalf of Ms. Martin. Ready.
You and I think Miss Martin is participating, isn't she? Or
She's here with me, Judge.
oh, good. Okay. Hi, Miss Martin. How are you?
Good. How are you, Judge?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for participating. Okay. What are we talking about the offer here? Is it going to get better for Mr. Velarde, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, last rec I have here is 5 years straight probation, $100 fine, 50 hours of community service, and all the regular terms and conditions of probation.
Okay.
Your Honor, in this case, Mr. Velarde.
Amen. Hallelujah. I'm making some inroads.
Yes, ma'am. It takes a village.
Mr. Martinez.
He had requested any and all videos. So this was I think I may have told Mr. Velarde that
The traffic stop.
But sometimes when they take them to the jail to get their blood, there's a video, but in this case, there is no video of the blood draw. And so there was no video of, they've been trying to obtain the video of the dash cam video, and they're not able to upload that either. So there's no video of the stop.
Or the SFSTs.
Right, no, that's right, that's right. There would be a video of both. that's a correct characterization.
Right.
So with that in mind, right now it's 5 years, TDC probated for 5 years. So $100 fine, 50 hours of community service, and the regular DWI conditions. But I can extend the rec of 4 years, probated for 4 years, and 0 fine, 0 hours of community service. With all the regular.
Mr. Martinez, thank you very much for what is otherwise a reasonable adjustment. However, given the circumstances, I don't believe that we're ready to plead to that offer. First and foremost, this is a traffic stop, Your Honor. I was contemplating filing a motion to suppress, and I needed that traffic stop to be able to establish that this was an illegal stop. So whatever they obtain as a result of that stop certainly would be suppressible. I made a very reasonable request. The reports indicate that SFSTs took place. Needless to say, we don't have the benefit of any kind of objective proof that she committed the traffic violation that serves as a basis for the stop, and or that the SFSTs were so horribly performed that she flunked everything. I believe that's pivotal. And at a bare minimum, we might have to do a motion to suppress. But having said that, I previously made Mr. Martinez aware of the fact that the 2 predicate offenses occurred well over 10 years ago, almost weeks apart, while Ms. Martin was a student at Western New Mexico State. Given the remoteness of those cases and given the circumstances of how they happened so close together, I would ask Mr. Martinez if he would consider a plea to a misdemeanor DWI offense, and we can go our separate ways.
Mr.
Mr. Velarde, that was very well said, sir.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Mr. Martinez, did it move you?
Well, you know, Judge, I had requested, I understand Mr. Velarde's
Mr. Who?
Velarde, Mr. Velarde's apprehension. You know, and I requested the officers to look again, to try and get that video, to try and see if, you know, it's around somewhere, but it's not looking good. You know, I understand. I understand. He's right. You know, these are from New Mexico. But she, you know, there was a blood sample obtained, which was a 0.14 BAC. So there is some evidence of intoxication. You know, and I understand what he's saying. You know, the video would be helpful, but you know, presumably there's the testimony of the officers that were involved in the stop that could testify as to what they observed. You know, so there is some evidence that, you know, to prove this case. But I'll look again. For right now, you know, I think 4 years probated for 4 years is a reasonable rec. And, you know, it really is. You know, 0 fines, 0 community service hours. But I understand what Mr. Velarde is requesting.
Mr. Martinez, just another thought. Ms. Martin is a mental health counselor. She'll be working, or she works at Peak. And I do believe that she has the mental wherewithal to be able to put this behind her. I would encourage you to keep an open mind and commit to nothing. And if you can extend us a misdemeanor plea offer, Judge, we're ready to take a plea.
What are you thinking?
I
Mr.
understand.
Judge, I should file my motion to suppress, you think?
It looks that way if Mr. Martinez isn't convinced right now.
Yeah, no, I have no reason to believe it's a bad stop. I understand what Mr. Velarde is saying, but it looks like a good stop. Like the officers had reasonable suspicion. So, yes.
Okay. What did the officer say? She had a broken tail light.
Judge, she was driving to visit a friend way out there on the east side, Las Tierras.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've been out there, but the street lights out there are non-existent. It's a the streets are dark, completely dark. And the officers were perhaps patrolling. I don't know where the officers were. They claimed that she failed to stop. They claimed that she failed to come to a complete stop at an intersection that was regulated by a stop sign.
Okay.
That's their version. That's the reason they stopped her.
That's correct. In the report, it says that she neither slowed down nor stopped at the stoplight. She just proceeded right through the intersection.
Okay.
But it was a stop sign, not a traffic
Right,
light.
that's exactly right. A stop sign. It wasn't traffic lights. That's right.
Okay.
Judge, I'll bring my investigator to point out to the court just how dark it is.
Okay.
And
See,
those
that's
signs,
what I was gonna say. Could
unless you're in the neighborhood, you don't know that there's a stop sign.
That's what I was going to say. In a very dark intersection, could that stoplight be seen?
Well, but as you know, Judge, I mean, even if it turns out that, you know, let's say, I don't know, the stop sign couldn't have been seen. I mean, the officers had to have been acting in good faith, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as the court finds that, yeah, maybe there wasn't a traffic violation, but the fact of the matter is the officers were acting in good faith when they believed she had committed a traffic violation, then that would be reasonable suspicion.
Well, Judge, given the time of night, the argument to be made to that, the good faith argument, is that these officers made a profile stop because of the time of night. It was past midnight, was it not, Mr. Martinez? It was 11:30. And so if Mr. Martinez is going to invoke the good faith argument, certainly the flip side of that is that the officers made a profile stop because of the time of night that it happened.
Well, Judge, I mean, if it's that dark, how could they have had enough information to make a profile?
Well, I mean, they know they were following her, so there should be some kind of video.
Like I said, Judge, you know, we've asked for the video. As it stands right now, there is no video, but I'll ask again, you know.
One final question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Martinez. Mr. Martinez, do we have anything to gain in order to settle this case if we were to postpone this for another 30 months to see if 30 days, Judge? This is pandemic. If we could continue this settlement conversation for at least another 30 days, perhaps Mr. Martinez and I can come to some kind of understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have an open mind. I'm always willing to talk. I'm just saying right now I can't offer that, but
yeah, let's do
certainly
that.
I can talk.
Mr. Velarde, let's set this up for another settlement conference in 30 days. That'll give you the opportunity to speak to Mr. Martinez. I won't set this up for an motion to suppress yet. Let's see what happens at the next settlement conference. If you tell me, okay, there's no deal, let's forge ahead with an MTS, we'll do that.
Judge, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Adios. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Be safe, Mr. Velarde.
Yes, ma'am. You too, Judge. Bye-bye.
Thank you. The next one is Jorge Garcia. Court calls cause number, that's Mr. Carter. 2019-7086. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Good afternoon, Judge. Good to see you. Thomas Carter for Mr. Garcia, and the defense is ready.
Good to see you, Mr. Carter.
Judge, I just want to let you know you look so elegant as always.
Thank you so much. I spent a little bit extra time on my hair.
Well, I was going to mention that something was glowing, and I was going to ask you, is it the hair or the glasses, or is it both? You know, maybe combination.
It's the hair. It's my new COVID look. I finally got it dyed again. Got rid of the roots and got it styled a little bit better. You know, we had that pandemic look that was pretty scary, Mr.
Yeah.
Carter. So
Yes.
yes, we're back, new and improved. Like Mr. Nunez, look at his stash. He's
I was
new and
gonna
improved.
say- I was gonna say, but I think you give off the most inspiration though, Judge.
I think I do too. Thank you very much, Mr. Carter, for those kind words. Thank you. Okay, is Mr. Garcia online with us today?
Judge, he should be, because I spoke with him over the phone.
Mr.
And-
Garcia, are you there, sir? Is the Xperia Tablet Z, Mr. Rick? No. Mr. Garcia, maybe he's Xperia Tablet Z, but we don't see him.
I'm gonna text him, Judge, and tell him to unmute if that's the case.
Well,
I think he's a gentleman with the beard.
Is he the one with the beard?
I believe so.
I'm asking him to unmute because he's trying to talk. I bet you that's him. Talk to me, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
There we
here.
go.
How are you, ma'am?
Oh, how are you, sir?
Very good, ma'am. How about yourself?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Okay, do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Carter, on the screen, Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Good
Mr.
afternoon, Mr. Garcia.
Do you recognize your client as the defendant in this case, Mr. Carter?
Yes, I do recognize my client. He's
Very
got, his beard is a little bit longer, but I recognize his face and his voice.
There it is. That's all of us. Okay, let the record reflect both of you all have identified each other. Mr. Nunez,
Yes, Your Honor.
we have a better, new and improved offer in this case for Mr. Carter.
Your Honor, to be honest, I don't even know if there was a previous offer that was related to the court, but the one on portal is 10 years straight probation. I'm fairly new to this case. I don't remember the facts of this one.
Okay.
Judge, my counter would be for the state to consider reducing this case to a misdemeanor and having him do the DWI court with Judge Anchondo. I think that there are some mitigating circumstances as to what my client was going through at the time. His first DWI conviction was in 2009, and then he picked up one in 2017 that he was convicted for, it looks like. But I really don't think that throughout any of his past convictions, he really just had the help that he needed to help. I've found that Judge Anchondo's court is a really good court to be in. I think most people that complete that court never pick up DWIs, you know, moving forward. There may be a couple of people, but I think their success rate is very, very high. And I would like to really help my client out by getting him the help that he's probably never received, instead of, you know, just hanging a scarlet letter with a felony conviction around his neck that he has to carry for the rest of his life.
Would you consider a misdemeanor with Judge Anchondo's drug court? That was a beautiful tribute to Judge Anchondo and his drug court, Mr. Carter. Thank you.
I can vouch for the excellence of Judge Antonio's drug court.
Were you a part of it?
I was assigned there for like 6 years.
That's why. That's why you think it's absolutely outstanding.
It really, no, honest to God, it really is outstanding. It really is. He's right about the success rate. But you know, this really is his third DWI. And he refused to provide a sample, so they had to get a search warrant to get his blood, and it was 0.22. But his point is well taken. You know, the rec right now is 10 years TDC, probated for 10 years. It's a $100 fine, 100 hours of community service. You know, what I can do is, if he's willing to do Judge Anchondo's drug court, I can reduce that to 5 TDC, probated for 5 years, 0 fine, 0 hours of community service.
That, you know, that is something to consider. That would still carry a felony conviction that he has to wear around his neck. What I'd like to do, Judge, if we could, is just have a little more time. I need some more time to sit down with my client as well. The last 3.5 weeks have just been atrocious from my office and practice with COVID going on.
Okay, sir.
And so it's really just thrown a lot of interference in me meeting with clients and things like that. And I'd like to give my client the attention that he deserves to go over everything and further discuss some of these mitigation things. And I may have more to take to Ivan the next go around.
Good, absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Carter. I think we have to, as much as we all want to move these cases, right? It's taking a little bit longer with these extraordinary circumstances to move these cases. So I appreciate that, and I'm aware of that. Yes, sir. And I don't want to ever feel you guys, I don't want you guys to ever feel pressure that you have to do the in-person, okay? Just to move my docket. So no. How much time do you need?
You know, you're very fair, Judge.
Times, Mr. Carter, how much time do you need that you can, so you can meet with your client? And
You know, I think we've been, you know, just from listening to what the court's been doing, 3 weeks. If you want to do 3 weeks, that's fine with me. If you want to do less than that, I can work with you, Judge, whatever you would like to do.
No. 3 weeks is good. 3 weeks is good. I don't want to pressure you in any way, shape, or form. I can only imagine what everybody's reinventing themselves, basically, Mr. Carter. We all have to reinvent ourselves and come up with new and different ways to dispense justice and to handle our clients, and then dealing with the egos of the judges that, oh God, no. No, it has to be atrocious for you guys. And
well, you know, it's just like, you know, we had somebody in the office that tested positive. And when you have that happen, okay, we're all prepared to work remotely, but you're not prepared to work remotely at the drop of a dime. And informing your staff that somebody tested positive is like pulling a fire alarm in a theater. You know, everybody scatters and it's all kinds of things you have to do. So it's just been so many different little things.
I am sorry.
But we're going to be ready.
Is there a happy ending? Was it a positive COVID result?
Yes, we did have an intern that did test positive, but all the testing is starting to come back and everybody's negative.
Amen.
So, you know, but it's just a scary thing. And when people,
God, no.
you gotta shut down the building, you've got to do so many things.
Shut down the building, desanitize the office, do all of that. Oh my God. I can't imagine.
And the person was asymptomatic.
So
like many other people, this person just decided to go get randomly tested.
Wow. Thank God for that.
You know, so
thank God for that. Can you imagine how many people he may have infected?
Yeah, that's why it's a good idea to, you know, for everybody to get tested, I think.
I think so too. I think so too.
You may not feel any symptoms, but you could have it and you can affect the closest people you love. And
it's having consideration for other humans.
Yes,
they seem to have lost that as well. Mr. Carter, after that story, you want me to give you 4 weeks? I'll give you 4 weeks.
You know what? I start going crazy if I have too
much time.
I like to stay busy. You know, I've had, you know, obstacles, but I want to do my best to assist my client. My client wants to see and talk more about the case, and I want to be able to do that with him as soon as possible.
Very good, very good. Let's go ahead and set this up for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Judge, there's one other issue that I'd like to ask the court to consider.
Yes.
I did not file a motion on this issue. It is regarding the bond restrictions that have been placed on my client. He works in the electric field. He's an electrician, and a lot of his income earning is outside of El Paso. He has a restriction right now that he cannot travel outside of El Paso County. And I would like to respectfully request the court to consider modifying those restrictions. If you look at his performance on PR bond, I don't think the court will find a single violation. I think he's behaved himself and abided by all of the court's conditions.
Right, he has, sir. He has, because I didn't get a summary on him. So he's been compliant. And so what we can do, can we do this except for work-related activities, except for work? Put that exception for the prohibition about not leaving El Paso County except for work-related activities. And he can do that. I don't want to deny him his livelihood and his right to earn money. And he probably earns money outside of El Paso, right?
Yeah, it's real, it's just real tough for a lot of people out there. And
Absolutely. Mr. Castaneda, can we do a bond, PR bond amended and just allow him to leave El Paso County only for work-related activities?
I will get on that, Judge.
Great, thank you. Mr. Carter, anything else, sir?
nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
So we'll see you in about 3 weeks. You may be excused. Mr.
Thank you.
Garcia, thank you for participating, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
May I
sir. Have
be
a great
excused, Your
day.
Honor?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. You all may be safe, please, everybody. Alejandro Jimenez is coming in, Rick. Does anybody recognize Alejandro Jimenez? Alejandro Jimenez.
He's one of the defendants from this morning, Judge, on the arraignment that they were the PR bond was gonna ask him to sign in at 1.
Cristobal Nares, that's you, Mr. Holguin, to 2020-0023. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Enrique Holguin for Mr. Cristobal Nares, ready as well, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Nares participating?
No, Your Honor, I'm going to ask to waive his presence. He is at work, but he has been in communication with me.
Great, thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes. Presence waived. What's the offer to settle in this case, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, the offer is 10 years straight probation, 30 days ACOP, $500 fine, 150 hours of community service, DWI school, victim impact panel, UABA curfew, and restitution, if any.
Okay. What are you thinking about that, Mr. Holguin?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Nunez had relayed me that rec through email. I can give him an update that as far as restitution, his insurance company took care of the damages. It's not a good case for me, Your Honor. I'll be frank. Unfortunately, after discussing my client's case with an immigration attorney, he is a DACA recipient, Your Honor. So our hands are pretty tied. I mean, just the nature of the offense, even a deferred, I mean, he's deported, so, and he understands, and I've been in contact with him, the gravity of the situation. He fully appreciates it, Your Honor. So I think we can't take anything, Your Honor.
Okay, we gotta put in the trial. Mr. Nunez, it can't get any better, right? I mean.
I really cannot, Your Honor. I've spoken to the CW. She's very much on board, Your Honor.
And then the gravity of the offense. No. It's just one of the situations. Okay. Sometimes
Your Honor.
it's got to just be tried, right?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. And Mr. Nunez has been transparent throughout the whole process. He has been in contact with me. And even if you were inclined to have it deferred, even that, after speaking with the immigration attorney, that's equivalent to a conviction. Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess the last thing, but I think I know the answer to Mr. Holguin, no bench trial?
No, Your Honor. We would request a jury trial, please.
Very well. Very well. Okay, we're going to put this on the list of jury trials. We'll try this in 4 years, 3 years, God knows when. But we're going to put it on the list of trials. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You have no more settings in this case. Thank you. You may be excused. Have a great
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next one is Mr. Eric Mesa, Gilberto Ponce, 2020 to announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Good afternoon, Judge. Adi Fabler for Mr. Ponce.
Mr. Burr, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Judge. How about you?
Good. I'm good, sir. I'm good. Is Mr. Ponce participating here?
Yes, Judge. He's under the name Aristo 4+, but I think he was having some trouble with his audio.
Mr.
Yeah, he's been in and out, Judge. He's been there. Right now, he's on mute.
I'm asking him to unmute. I'm asking him.
Judge, I think they called on this one that he speaks Spanish.
Spanish speaker. Yes, Judge.
Well, okay, let's see. He's not unmuting. He doesn't know how to do it.
So I don't know if he understands you. You have to ask him.
I know, but I can't even communicate with him.
Judge, if you're okay, I'll waive it.
Waive it. Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, what are we looking at the offer there? Here, Mr. Nunez.
The offer, Your Honor, is the option of a 1244A2 deferred or 1244 time served.
That is correct, Judge. We have two issues on this case. He's not a U.S. citizen, Judge. So we will be filing a motion to appoint immigration attorney. And we are trying to put together some kind of package to negotiate. Let's see if the state will offer us possibly deferred on a misdemeanor. Maybe that will help him out with his immigration situation. But Judge, we do need some time to get those done.
Got it. No worries. Let's set this up. It looks like there's still a little bit of work to do. There could be a possible resolution. 30 days settlement conference. Let's see what you can do in 30 days, or you want more, Mr. Ibarra?
Judge, I believe there is already a settlement conference set on September 9th. Can we keep that date because of immigration? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
So we go September 9th, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it'll be the 10th or the week after, Judge?
10th or the week after. So it'll be a little bit longer. I have a Zoom judicial conference.
Judge, after.
After. Good. Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ibarra, anything else in this case?
Nothing, Judge. Nothing.
Try to reach your client to tell him he may be excused. Okay?
I will, Judge.
All right, thank you. We'll see you September 9th, 11th, 12th, whenever Becky can fit it in after the 9th. You may be.
Judge, I also have Cesar Lozano set for another one. April Lopez, I don't know if he's covering that one.
That is correct, Judge. And it's a jail. I think she's in jail.
April Lopez.
Got it. Okay, at this time, court calls cause number 2019-3931 and 4251. April Lopez, announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Ari Faber for Ms. Lopez.
Good. Do you waive Ms.
Yes, yes, I do.
appearance today? Thank you. Mr. Nunez?
Yes, no, it's Mr. Martinez, Your Honor.
Martinez, what's the offer, sir? I'm sorry.
Let me see. She had been charged with delivery over 4 under 200. Our recommendation is we'll reduce it to possession over 4 under 200, and that drops it down to a second degree. And so it'd be 3.5 years TDC to run concurrent with her tampering case.
Is this the individual that did the manufacturing?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I kind of lost you there.
Okay. Was this the individual that was arrested for the manufacturing of the PR bomb?
She does have another case, so you may be correct, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, so it's 3.5 TDC. Mr. Ibarra, what are you thinking about that offer?
Judge, I think the last offer that we had, I think it was on portal, it was 5 TDC. I do have a call scheduled with her tomorrow morning, so I can convey that offer to her and get back to you, get back to Mr. Martinez.
You want to set up for a settlement conference in a week or 2 weeks?
2 weeks, Judge?
2 weeks it is. Settlement conference in 2 weeks. Very good. Because it looks like you're going to talk to her tomorrow. Good.
Yes,
Mr. Ibarra, anything else in this case?
Nothing further, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Martinez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Be safe, Mr. Ibarra. We'll see you in a couple weeks, if not soon.
Thank you, Judge. Take care.
You too, sir. Mr. Gutierrez, court calls cause number 2020-428, Galding Cruz. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Mr. Gutierrez?
He's on mute. Mr. Gutierrez is on mute.
Can you unmute?
Yes. Hi, Judge. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you, Mr. Gutierrez?
I'm good.
Do you see and recognize? Let me see where your client is.
I see him right there in the yellow shirt, white hat, Galindo Cruz.
There you
He's taking off his hat. There he is.
Okay, you recognize him as the defendant in this case, right?
I do, Your Honor.
And Mr. Cruz, do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Gutierrez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Let the record reflect both have recognized each other. Okay, Mr. Gutierrez, you wanted to talk to me?
Well, Judge, I think I'm I heard Danny Avalar earlier saying that he needed to maybe talk to the higher ups. In no offense to Mr. Martinez, but we've had an impasse. There was a young child in the car. It's a DWI with a child. And there's Mr. Velarde covered for me one day. There was an offer made. It was extended to my client, but then it got line item vetoed by Mr. Martinez. And we kind of need to speak to the higher ups on this case.
Okay. Mr. Martinez,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're not offended when that happens.
No, Your Honor, that's fine.
I liked his beard, by the way. I don't know what happened. Yesterday it was on.
I
Fell
know.
off, sir.
Mr. Martinez, can you make a better offer so maybe he doesn't have to go to the higher ups?
I think what he's looking for, Judge, is a reduction down to a misdemeanor.
Okay.
And I've gone down literally as low as can go down, as I can go down statutorily.
I respect that.
The minimum probation, the minimum underlying, 0 fine, 0 community service hours. So it's not like I'm trying to work with Mr. Gutierrez.
Oh, no. You know, Judge, I'm hoping also that given the time that my client's on the interlock, given the time that he performs favorably and everything else, that might persuade the powers that be to show, since he has no history at all, that maybe the lesser might be justified.
I am not going to deny you the right and the opportunity to try, Mr. Gutierrez. Absolutely. How much time do you need for me to set up one more settlement conference?
I was going to do the 60 days myself if I could, Judge.
Very good. Settlement conference in 60 days. We'll send you notice. Mr.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else, sir?
Nothing else, Judge.
Mr. Martinez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Mr. Cruz, thank you for participating. You may leave.
Okay, thank you.
Judge.
Thank you. Who's honking out there?
I think
sorry,
it was my clients was
I'm
at
at
a
work.
construction site. Yeah.
You, sir? It's a job site. Okay. It wasn't you, Mr. Cruz. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have you, Judge?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Cristina Avalos. That's public defender. Did we lose a public defender? Is that Mr. Grant? At the same
Afternoon.
Let me remove. Time for cause number 2020-1398, Cristina Avalos, announcement.
Haywood for the state of Texas, Your Honor. The state is ready.
Brent Stevens for Miss Avalos, Your Honor, and we're ready also.
Ms. Avalos is not participating, is she, this afternoon here?
I do not. She's in the annex.
Ah, okay. So do you waive her presence, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well, thank you. Okay, Ms. Haywood, do we have a settlement offer in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. We were last scheduled in this case for a settlement hearing. I've communicated a recommendation in this case to the defense of 7 years TDC in light of the defendant's previous history for committing the same type of offense. We do have CPS records, Your Honor, available that we would like to.
I'm sorry, Ms. Haywood, your internet, you're coming in and out. Can you repeat with the we have? What kind of records?
We have CPS records, Your Honor, in this case that regarding which we filed a notice for the court to require the state to disclose those confidential records. And attached to that order, there's also a protective, to that notice, there's a protective order attached. And I understand I've communicated with Mr. Stevens and he currently has no objection to the courts signing that order so that we can disclose those CPS records in the case as soon as possible.
Is that true, Mr. Stevens? You have no objection and I can sign them.
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, now, have you sent them to me, Ms. Haywood, or you will send them to me?
That order, Your Honor, is filed attached to the notice, and I can send you that notice and the order, Your Honor.
Yes, for future reference, if you want me to sign anything, you got to send it directly to Becky. Or send it to Becky and I, right? So that we'll know you want us to sign that. Okay, just for future. Very good. Send it to me and I'll sign it. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Now, I remember we had a pretty heated, it was a bond hearing on this case, so I remember the facts of this case. I guess, should we keep it on a settlement conference? My problem is, I don't know if this case is going to settle. I don't know if your client is ever going to agree to any kind of time, Red. Mr. Stevens, should we have one more settlement conference after the records?
I would. I'm sorry to interrupt, Judge.
That's okay, sir. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I would like one more settlement conference. I need to go through the CPS records. We are still getting an expert for this case. And my investigators are working on the case, although they have not been able to accomplish all of the objectives that we have set, but we are working on that.
Good, good.
So we're not ready yet to, really negotiate a final decision.
Got it.
So I am requesting another status conference. And in addition, Judge, as you mentioned, if the court is willing, it's been since the beginning of May since the bond hearing. If you would consider having a further hearing on possibly reducing her bond, I would appreciate that.
Okay. I generally let the time period of 3 to 4 months lapse before I
And the last time we were scheduled in this case for a bond hearing was in May, Your Honor, on May 8th.
Right. That's
that was the bond hearing in the case following an initial reduction that was made in March.
Right, right. A period of time other than 2 months has to lapse. 2 months is too short of a time to revisit, Mr. Stevenson.
All right, I'll approach the court again in the future.
Yes, sir.
And that with that time period in mind.
Good. Thank you. Now, for the settlement conference, how much time do you want? Sounds like there's still a lot of work to be done.
There is a lot of work to be done on this case.
You want 60 days for a settlement conference?
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds about right. 60-day settlement conference. Ms. Haywood, do you agree? 60-day settlement?
Yes, Your Honor, if you allow that time, would agree.
Very good. Very good. Okay. What else? What other issues, Mr. Stevens? Anything else?
No, Judge. We're receiving the CPS records. The prior case has been made available to me on portal, so I have access to that now. So I don't need anything from the district attorneys or discovery-wise at this moment.
Great. Okay. Very good. So you do whatever you need to do. We'll see you in about 60 days.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
And I'll forward that order for your signature, copying Mr. Stevens and Becky as well.
Excellent. And I won't look for your signature, Mr. Stevens, because you've approved and agreed on the record.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all. Be safe, both of you.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Judge, I have Miguel Guardado, the one that was on page 4. His attorney was Joe Vasquez, but Josh Spencer came in. He is under Xperia Tablet Z.
Okay, and Mr. Vasquez, I think, was on. No,
Mr.
not-
Vasquez was on, but that's the one he was on and he left. Mr. Vasquez. Yeah, went ahead and left since I had
What
let him know that Josh was on.
What page?
Page 4.
Page 4. Okay. Mr. Warda, but he already took care of Mr. It was already taken care of, Mr.
I don't know if Mr. Guardado can hear us or not.
Mr. Guardado, your attorney already took care of the case. You were not on. So, Mr. Guardado, just keep in close contact with your attorney. Can you hear me, Mr. Guardado? Mr. Guardado? Can you talk to me? Is he on the Xperia Tablet Z?
Yes, Judge, that's him.
Hey, Mr. Guardado, you're not speaking.
I just sent him a text chat to see if he could hear us.
Can't. He's not on audio. He doesn't connect with audio. He can't even hear us. Tell him to get off and get on again. Rick, tell him to get off and then his attorney took care of it. Okay.
I just went ahead and sent him a chat to call the court at 546-2100, and I can explain to him, or Becky will explain to him, and I don't know what happened.
Everybody mute. I'm hearing information.
That's Hector's iPhone. We're getting from Hector's iPhone.
Good, okay. Now, who else is here?
That's it.
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Hang on a second, hang on.
We have that Alejandro Jimenez, Judge, the arraignment from this morning. He didn't have an attorney, and PR Bond asked him to call in.
Is he here?
I don't know if he's still on the, you were
No,
gonna
Judge,
accept him.
no, not on.
No?
Not on.
Mr.
Hey, excuse me, Judge.
Gonzalez, talk to me.
Mr. Jimenez called me. He said that he has problems logging in, that the application keeps kicking him out every time he logs in. He said that he keeps calling his attorney, but his attorney won't answer.
Who is his attorney?
He didn't give me his name. He doesn't know his name. He just said it's a court-appointed attorney.
Okay, there's no, does Jimenez have a court-appointed attorney?
Let me check the case, Judge.
I checked and it doesn't appear on there, but he says he has one. And I let him know that there's no attorney of record.
Let's see if he doesn't have misdemeanors. Did you check to see if he had misdemeanor cases?
Okay, Mr. Castaneda, talk to me now.
I was gonna let you know that Victor Diaz. I saw an entry by Daniel Robledo.
Yes, Sam, Mr. Robledo came on and told the judge that he was the attorney of record.
Okay.
He did, Becky? Because I
don't recall that, but
I wrote it on my docket.
Yeah, he did, Judge. He was one of the first ones to come on and said that.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. Diaz had hired him.
I amended his bond. Yeah, I did. Thank you, Mr. Castaneda. Thank you.
And one more thing, Judge, just Christelle, the one I'm training.
Okay.
She's gonna leave because she's been here since 6 o'clock in the morning.
Holy moly. Why would you be going there at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Because that's the JMAC schedule.
Holy moly.
So in case you see her, she just didn't like leave and didn't say.
Yes, Miss Crystal, bye.
And she will be joining me tomorrow morning.
You will be?
Yes, Judge.
Good.
And I'll try to put a face to the name.
Good. Miss Crystal, goodbye. Go home, rest. Thank
Judge, on that Alejandro Jimenez, I show he had a misdemeanor case where the public defender was appointed, but that case was dismissed back in February, but barely February of this year. So maybe he thinks that the public defender is still his attorney.
Okay, Mr.
And if he's trying to call him, they won't answer right now.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes, Judge.
can you get him on your phone right now so we can talk to him on phone with you?
Yeah, I could try to get him on speaker. Let me see.
Good.
Yeah.
This is the last case we have to deal with, Mr. Rick. We're done with my docket, right?
Sorry, I muted myself.
What?
The attorney who moved to reduce bond for Alejandro Jimenez was Andres Caballero from the public defenders.
Oh, yeah, but that's because they were at the jail mag, so that means the PD, that it's gonna be assigned to Rene.
So it is a PD the case then, Becky?
Yes, it shows Andres Caballero filed the motions to reduce bond. I don't see an order appointing unless Sam can check in the jail mag records and see if they have an order appointing.
We are already done with the afternoon, Judge. I don't know if you want to get off the YouTube.
Oh, thank you, Rick. Thank you. Yes. I'm getting off of the recording. I think we're done with our doc.